Hey y'all! Thanks for tuning in to TammyToosVintage, where I share my love of thrifting, junking, collecting, and treasure hunting, along with some adventures in reselling too. You might even get a glimpse of my crazy life on the side. Hi y'all! Welcome to TammyToosVintage. Here on my YouTube channel, if you've seen my videos before, you may have noticed that I was just getting started and publishing videos, and I had something up every day, and then all of a sudden, radio silence. I kind of disappeared. Well, the reason for that is on September 30th of this year, I kind of had an accident. So I suffered a tibial plateau fracture, which is basically a fracture in the knee joint, the top of the flat bone that forms the bottom part of your leg. And I was in a wheelchair for a while, then I was using a walker, and now I have graduated to my trusty cane, and I've had this very nice fashionable brace. But it has been a long, slow recovery, and I'm still getting there, and that kind of put a damper on things for a while because it is, unfortunately, a very painful injury, and I hope none of y'all ever have to suffer it. I will say I was very blessed, though, in that I did not have to have surgery. The outcome is usually surgery, and the most common mechanism for a tibial plateau fracture is a pedestrian getting hit by a vehicle. And they often call it a bumper fracture. Well, I was not hit by a car or in a car accident, but instead I was actually hit by two very large, very playful Great Pyrenees dogs. Two of our dogs were having fun, running and playing, and had zoomies, paying more attention to each other than where they were going, and hit me in the leg. And apparently 200 pounds of dog hitting you at full speed is somewhat the equivalent of getting hit by a car, and that's how I ended up with a fracture. So that's why you haven't heard from me, but this very special video I did want to make now that it is the Christmas season, because I wanted to share with you my nativity collection. And I wanted to talk to y'all about that. Many of these are vintage, many of them are thrifted or purchased at estate sales, and so I'm going to go through and tell you a little bit about each one, and hopefully you'll. Okay, so this is a pretty large nativity set that I purchased from an estate sale, and you will see that some of them have some items missing, their heads, and some of them are in pretty rough shape. So I have been working on restoring this set. They were not in this bad a shape when I purchased them. Unfortunately, some of my own animals were able to get a hold of them, and the goats actually nibbled on some heads there. So we're working on restoration. Now, baby Jesus right here, and Mary I have already worked on. I actually did do some repainting on Mary's face, and I added, you can see there some wool locks that I'm using to help restore the hair on those. So I've cleaned Joseph right there, but I've got to work on his head and hair a little bit more. But this is just a really cool set. It is fabric that's draped over, I'm not even sure what is underneath, some styrofoam and all, and then the fabric has been stiffened with some paint or starch, and those are just kind of neat, very vintage look and feel. So, and what's kind of interesting is they had two sets of wise men with this, and they had it, priced as a set. And I did go ahead and get all 6 wise men, which now I'm glad I did, because that has helped make the restoration a little bit easier, because I don't have to put all 6 of them back together, I can use parts and pieces from them to make 3. So that helps a bit. Okay, so here is the first part of my little display, and I'll tell you about each of these pieces. It all started with my Precious Moments set here. I collected precious moments for a long time back in the 80s and 90s, and so it was only natural for me that when I started my own nativity set collecting that I wanted to have as my nativity for our family, I picked the Precious Moments nativity, and these are the pieces that I have. I actually have lost a couple of pieces to breakage, but this is the set that I have. I've got the little lambs there. You can see them. They are so cute. And that was my first nativity set. And then this set right here, this is really cool. This is a set, the Star from Afar, I believe is what it's called, this wooden set. And it's really kind of neat. It's a countdown to Christmas set that can be used with families with children, and there's a book that comes with it, and there's also some cards that have scripture, and basically it's similar to the idea of Elf on a Shelf where the kids get up and hunt for what happened the night before, only instead of an elf creating mischief, this one you're supposed to use the star, and the star travels around the house leaving you messages and things leading up to Christmas Day. And then on Christmas Day, the idea is that the star will be in the nativity scene. Every day getting closer to Christmas, the star will be somewhere closer to the creche. So that one's kind of a neat set. This one's nothing special. It's a set I actually just picked up recently at Goodwill. Just a porcelain, made in China set. The colors are pretty. I thought I liked the blue. It's kind of reminiscent of Yadro in the colors, but definitely not that quality. And this little set, this little terracotta set, is from Mexico. And I picked this one up. I believe this one came from a little gift shop here in town, if I'm remembering right. So, but that one's just kind of neat. I liked it. One of the things I liked about this one is that it actually has the little drummer boy in it. A lot of the nativities like this don't include that one, but I like that. Here's another just kind of generic ceramic set. I bought this one, I believe, at an estate sale, and I'm not even sure if the lamb goes, but I thought he was really cute, and he looks very different. The sticker on him matches, but he just seems a little bit different in style. But there's that set. Now moving over here, this is one of my Jim Shore sets. Let me move this guy for just a minute so you can see. This is the smaller of the two sets. I have a larger version that we'll see in a minute. But this one is a set that is complete because all of these pieces were sold together. So I have the kings and everything. The larger set, I am missing the kings. So I'll show you that one in a minute. This set, this is a wood set, and it's a wood block set that almost looks like the blocks used to print on fabric. But this was made in India, and I purchased this at a little gift shop in one of the towns near here that has a lot of, just a kind of a neat downtown shopping area, old town. And one of the shops there have a lot of imports. In fact, there's several pieces of the several different nativities that I purchased there. And now this one is really fun. I have a huge fondness for these kind of kitschy, silly, I guess, pieces. But this is Alaska. You can see there on the igloo behind the little people here, the Inuit people, and they're dressed in a traditional Inuit garb with a moose, a wolf, and a cute baby seal. There's a cute baby seal. All adoring little baby Jesus there. So I love those. And by the way, I have one that I am not sure where it is, but I also have a rubber ducky set that is a rubber ducky set of nativity, all the characters. Yeah, so this piece right here, this one's really neat. It's a handmade stained glass piece of the Holy Family. And one of the things I thought was kind of neat about this is you can see on the back side where they put this little piece of metal wire here to symbolize the star. I really like that. And it does have a little nut welded on right there that can be used as a candle holder. So I thought that was kind of innovative. And then these guys, these were an estate sale find, and they are Holt Howard. You can see the HH sticker there on the bottom. Oh, I had it right the first time. HH Japan. And they all have this original price sticker from the White House. There it is. $1. And I'm assuming that was $1 for the set. Now, recently I have found the comps for these are much higher than $1, so I was pretty excited about that. But my guys were in pretty rough shape. I spent an afternoon recently trying to get them back in decent shape. I had the parts, the disc were here, this round piece on the inside of their cones, but it had come out on all of them, and their bodies were smashed, and they were just kind of rough. This guy's crown was completely messed up, and so I kind of rebuilt his crown for him. He is supposed to have a red velvet crown, but his is missing. I did have it at one point, so I'm hoping that maybe it shows up. And I didn't realize it until I started looking at some pictures online to see about what this guy's crown was supposed to look like, that his crown is not original at all. It has been completely replaced, so at some point I will probably remake his crown as well. But these guys are Holt Howard, which is a very popular, very collectible line. These were made, I believe, in the 1950s, and apparently they're fairly rare, and so they do bring a pretty penny. If you ever find them at a thrift store or estate sale for a decent price, I would snatch them up. If you don't keep them for yourself, you could probably sell them to a Holt Howard collector. All right, let's move on to the other side of the room. So this area right here is the rest of My Nativities. And you can see this right here. This is one of my favorite. I love them all. It's like having kids. You can't say, oh, this is my favorite. But this is a Fontanini set. And Fontanini is an old Italian company that's been around for ages and ages. And these pieces are, I guess it's a resin, but you can see the Fontanini mark in there. And these pieces, I remember years ago seeing a store display of these, similar, like, you know, the people who do the snow villages, and they just have tables and tables of snow villages with the streets and all that. Well, Fontanini has villages and people and different shops and things. You can see here there's a campfire, and back behind a carpenter shop. And but in addition to the carpenter shop and things, they do make a lot of different characters that would have been found in a traditional village like Bethlehem back in biblical times with different people and various trades and things. So I love the animals. So we have the sheep and the pigs and the donkey and the cow. There's another little piggy right there. And he's back there resting. Mary's donkey is back there. And you can see Mary and Joseph. So this one, this little fire actually lights up, but I do need to get a replacement battery for it. Another nativity. This one also came, I believe, from an estate sale. Just a traditional ceramic vintage set. This one I found at Goodwill. It is lead crystal, according to the box. And I thought this one was kind of interesting because it's very, I don't know, modern looking. If you see the way the crystal is cut, it's very angular. And I just thought it was kind of interesting, that frosted glass look. So this piece back here, my light's not very good, I apologize. But if you can see the little building right here, it is actually a box. And all of these pieces will fit in the box. You take their base off and they will fit in the box when you go to store your nativities. And I really like them. Unfortunately, I am missing one base, so the angel back there is leaning against the house instead of standing on its own. This little piece, I recently found out, came from a local pottery. I bought this one at the local thrift store, but someone else had posted it because they used to purchase these a lot as gifts. It is not signed, but apparently we used to have a local pottery studio, and apparently that is the source of this little piece, and I just thought that was really sweet. This is a Fenton bell, and you can see it is raised relief, and it has the nativity scene 360 degrees all the way around it, with the shepherds and the kings, and then Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus. This is another of those kind of fun ones. It has a Tonala pottery looking vase with the little donkey. See the little donkey back there and the little cow. And then Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus and the star, made out of the clay. And so that was just kind of a fun purchase. I bought that at the mall, at a gift shop in the mall a few years ago. This is a piece that I bought at an estate sale. It is German. It is some kind of resin. It's tiny. You can see these pieces are not very big at all. But I just thought this was really interesting and very cute. So now these pieces down here, I love this piece in the back. I ordered this after seeing it from somebody in a group on Facebook. They had found it and purchased it, and it's all a very light cardboard, or I guess you would say like a cardstock piece, and it reminds me of something that I would see in Sunday school growing up. You can see you fold out the background and then add the pieces across in the slots, and it becomes a three-dimensional nativity, and I really liked that. So this one I picked up at a thrift store, Hope. That is from the same company that produces Fontanini Roman, but it's not part of the Fontanini line. And then that little gift store I mentioned in the neighboring town that does a lot of imports, that's where this set came from. And I love the stylized look of this Holy Family. So, and they are very heavy. here I have a couple of ornaments. This one, when I first picked it up, I was like, is that Lenox? Because it does have the look of Lenox. You'll see I do have a Lenox set here in a minute, but it is not. It is a Chinese knockoff, but it is a pretty piece. It's porcelain, and I like the looks of it. So there's that one. And then over here, this one was a gift from our Sunday school class. Everybody in Sunday school class got one of these a few years ago, this bisque ornament. And then this one I picked up at church just a couple weeks ago. Our church was giving these out as a Merry Christmas. They had had a special event that we were not able to attend with a live nativity and such, and they were left over from that. So here is that Lenox set I was talking about, and you can see, see there on the kings, the detail, the gold with the little colored dots. That's very much of a Lenox look, and this is from their Mistletoe Park collection. You can see there on the bottom, Mistletoe Park. And this one, before we were hit with COVID and our local Goodwills were still doing in-store auctions, this was a piece that was in our in-store auction and that I purchased that way. So you can see Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus, and then a little lamb back there. And that is, from what I understand, the complete set of that. It's kind of interesting that there's a sheep but no shepherd, and the kings but no other people besides Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus. So this is, a traditional plastic 50s, 60s, 70s. I saw them all the time growing up. A lot of times they're shiny bright. I don't know that this one is marked. It just says made in Hong Kong, but I love these. I remember those evoke childhood memories to me. Now this piece I got at our local thrift store in town, and I thought this was just gorgeous. This is actually a hardback book. You can see the cover back there, and it's like a pop out. It folds out, and you put the tabs in down here for it to stay. And you can see here the shepherds are being told the good news from the angels right there. And those angels are just gorgeous, the detail on them. More heavenly host. And there is the Holy Family. And then coming in from this direction are the three kings, or the three wise men. And this, I should have checked my sources before I started the video, but this is from a famous nativity painting or piece of art, and I forget where it is, but it's a recreation of that. This set right here is from Uruguay, and it is a rinconada. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly or not, but it's really interesting because I had picked up some rinconada animal figurines at an estate sale to resell, and that kind of got me thinking, does rinconada make a nativity? And so I got online and I looked up the rinconada nativities and found some, and they were extremely expensive. I'm talking, $200-300 for some of them. And so I was like, well, I probably won't get one of those anytime soon. And literally the next week, someone posted this set on Facebook Marketplace for $30. That's less than typically 2 pieces of rinconada pottery figurines go for, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pieces for that price. So I messaged her quick and picked these up, and I just love them. I love the faces, the glaze. Look at the sweet donkey and sheep there keeping baby Jesus warm. It's just a really neat piece and in excellent condition. Now this was a piece I picked up at a thrift store also, and it is just a traditional resin style nativity made in the style like the 50s, and the house is back there is newer, or the crash is newer. I'm not sure if this is newer made to look old or if it actually is vintage, but it's that vintage style for sure. This is just a little trinket box. I think I picked this one up at a Goodwill as well. You can see it opens. Nothing special. This was probably made in China. Here is a wood set that plays. I'm not going to wind up the music box right now, but it does work. And when the music box plays, the little people turn, and you can see there's kings and shepherds and sheep, and then the Holy Family there in the middle with Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus. So this one is also a wood set, and it's not marked, and I haven't done a ton of research on this one, but I am assuming this is probably German as well, just because of the style. It does have that Black Forest style, and just the way the detail is on the figurines and the details on the house. That's what it looks like to me. Like I said, it's not marked, but I just thought that was a really neat piece. This is a music box I picked up at a thrift store. The music box does play, nothing special, just it has kind of that sugared snow babies look to it. Of course, it's not snow babies, but I believe it was made in China as well. Not marked, but yeah. So not a lot of special there. Now these are some fun pieces because these little ones here are teeny tiny, and I loved little ones. I think these are so cool. There's one that was made in Mexico. This one I believe is El Salvador, and that one's so cute. This one was at a thrift store. This one was at that store I got from the little store in the next town over, I believe. And then both of these I got at a store in Austin that does a lot of imported goods. And these are matchbox scenes. And so you can see how little, like I thought this one was small. And then I found this one, which was even smaller, and I just thought they were so cute, and so I had to have them. This Holy Family, this large piece, was an estate sale find as well, and they I wanted them. They're, again, nothing special, the porcelain pieces, but the size and the color, I just really liked those. I mentioned earlier my Jim Shore pieces. Here's the larger Jim Shore nativity. It's the same style, same characters, but this one was sold separately. So the three pieces of the Holy Family were one set. The donkey, the sheep, and the shepherd were one set, and then the creche was actually sold separately as well, as are the three wise men, which I do not have yet. So that's going to be one of my be on the lookouts. And also, sadly, our little Mr. Shepherd there has lost a hand, so he needs either some repair or to be replaced as well. This set I found at an estate sale, and it was kind of crazy because they had priced all of the pieces individually. And I really wanted to purchase the whole thing, and I had planned to go back to the estate sale on the days where the markdowns occurred, and I ended up not being able to go back, and so I couldn't get the rest of the set. But I did get Mary, Joseph, and Baby Jesus on the first day of the sale, and these were Fabergé, House of Fabergé, for one of the subscription things, where they send you one a month, and you pay monthly, and then you're on the subscription for a certain amount of time, and at the end of it you have the whole set. So right now I only have the 3, but hopefully someday I can complete that set, because I just thought their style was gorgeous, and they do have real 24 karat gold accents, and I just thought that was way cool. This is just a cute little book, wooden carved nativity. It's just the Holy Family there, and it looks to me like a dove over here, but I thought that was cute. And again, it's tiny, so I had to get it because it's little. This set, you might notice something is missing. There's no Baby Jesus. I picked this one up not long ago at a Goodwill, and I am 99% certain Baby Jesus was there, because I always make sure when I am looking at nativities and thrift stores and stuff that the major players are present. And of course, Baby Jesus is the main character in the nativity story. And in the Austin area, thrift stores, actually any stores, do not give you bags. You have to pay to get a bag, if they even offer that opportunity. It's a city ordinance here about disposable bags. So when I go to the thrift store, if I forget my bags or I don't have a bag, you have to carry everything out, just carry it out by hand, which was the case this day. And these were placed very carefully in the floorboard of the car. And when we got home, the kids brought them in. And when I got ready to set them up, Baby Jesus was nowhere to be found. I don't know if he got lost in the car someplace, if he never made it to the car. I don't know. But we're on the lookout for a Baby Jesus. Either the one I misplaced or one that will fit in with this scene. Now down here is one of my pride and joys, is my Holy Family blow molds. Now blow molds are definitely vintage kitsch, and I just love them. I want to eventually expand to include the other pieces, but right now I have Mary, Joseph, and Baby Jesus, and these were purchased at an antique mall in Grapevine, where I used to live, and a booth that is owned by a friend of mine that I used to work with. So if you're ever in Grapevine, visit Grapevine Antiques Market. You will not be disappointed. They have some great booths, great sellers, lots of cool stuff. All right. This one, another Goodwill thrift store find. Kind of interesting. I thought the shape of these was interesting. They look carved, but they are resin pieces. And something I haven't figured out yet is they have magnets on the back of them, but they're too heavy for the magnets to hold them up. So I'm not really sure what the magnets are for. You can see the little angels that are up here. And Mary is holding Baby Jesus. He's not missing. Mary's holding him. But yeah, that one's kind of just a different look. This little ceramic piece also came from a Goodwill. This little cutie. See, these are from the local thrift store, little children looking characters in that one. And of course, Baby Jesus and a lamb. this set is ceramic, even though it looks metallic. It's ceramic and painted with the silver. And you can see there how it's got the hole. And this was purchased from a fundraiser for my daughter's school. The first set, I think it was Baby Jesus, arrived broken, so I called the company. They sent another set. That set, Joseph, arrived broken. So I have one each of Baby Jesus and Joseph, but I do have an extra Mary in case I ever need her. Now this is the one that started my nativity collection. I had the Precious Moments kind of as my, the nativity I set up every year. But this set right here, you can see the elephant and zebra and lion, giraffe, Mary and Joseph, Baby Jesus, and a tree. But this was purchased at an event at church. A friend of mine sold for a company called Noonday, I think it was. I think that's where this one came from. Anyway, there was a thing at church and they sold products that are produced in other parts of the world to help the people in those areas become financially independent. And this was one of the products they sold. And when I picked this up, I just thought it was different and unique. And I was like, that would be really cool if I started collecting nativities. So there you go. Now, I neglected to show you these two back here were handmade by my children. When we had the nativity scene special event at our church, they also had an activity where the kids could get these kits and make their own nativity. So this was Caden's nativity, and his, I think, yeah, I thought he needed to do a little repair, but I guess that's supposed to be up there. But there's Caden's, Mary, Joseph, and Baby Jesus. And then here is Ella's. So that was pretty cool. Another piece from Mexico. This again is a Tonala pottery in a Mexican folk art style. And one of these, this is like, I guess, the cow or donkey. Isn't that funny? I thought he was so cute. Oh, I'm not showing you his face. Look at him. Isn't he cute? He almost looks like a little pig. And then over here is the little sheep. Oh, look at that. And then there's Baby Jesus, Mary Joseph, shepherds, and our wise men. And back here are this is a corn husk doll set, and this was at an estate sale. There was an estate sale I worked, and the person who had lived in the home had a huge collection of nativities. So several of the ones that I said came from an estate sale were from that particular collector, and she had some really nice ones. And so there was a lot that I wish I could have picked up as well, but I'm limited financially and space-wise, so that's all I could pick up. One of the things I really like about this one is I love the wise men's faces. I thought those were cool. And then the camel. Look at the camel back there. Isn't he cute? Ha ha ha. Now this right here is fun. This is a set of cookie cutters. And I bought these at Goodwill, and they looked like the box had never even been opened, that they had never even been out of the box. But I didn't take the cookie cutters out to display them, but my plan is hopefully one of these days to make something similar to a salt dough ornament nativity set where I can use these and make what looks like salt dough ornaments using those cookie cutters. Alright, and here is the last shelf right here. And this set right here is Roku pottery from South Africa. This colorful set right here in the middle. And this has a similar a similar story to the Rinconada pieces. I had picked up a Roku hippopotamus to resell, and I just really love the colors, I love the style. I was like, oh cool, I wonder if they do a nativity in this style. And so I looked it up online and I found that they did, yes indeed, do a nativity. And when I saw the price, again, I was like, yeah, probably not gonna get that one anytime soon, at retail anyway. And this one came up at an estate sale, a very affordable price, and now it is part of my collection. And these are hand painted. You can see there they have the stickers that say hand painted, handmade in South Africa, and they do have signatures on them as well. So these are kind of neat pieces. And this piece is a Scentsy piece, you know, the people that make the warmers and wax warmers, and so I just thought this was really kind of cool and fit in well. It's got the scene that goes all the way around the warmer, and we keep it stocked with Christmas scents to kind of brighten the mood and give us some sense of the holidays. And this little piece was from a Goodwill, and these are really cute. These are actually little thimbles. Each one of the figurines is a thimble, and they were in their original box. And so I picked those up for just a couple bucks, and I thought those were really cool. So anyway, that is my nativity collection. I have at least 2 that I know of that are somewhere in the house. I'm just not sure where they are. That's the rubber ducky set I mentioned earlier. And I have another trinket box similar to this one that you saw. So hopefully sometime those will show up. But anyway, thank you. If you made it through my video, let me know which one was your favorite. For me, it's really hard to choose because it's like picking your favorite kid. But I love them all. I love the nativity. I love the story. I love just honoring the fact that Jesus came as a baby, knowing what was in store, and he made that sacrifice to come and live here among men as God, made human. And then the Easter story where he sacrificed himself for us so that our sins will be covered. But anyway, thanks so much. Thanks for, oh, I almost forgot one. Look here, my banner. Oh, my nativity banner. This was made by a local artist. She does a lot of these for different seasons and all, but she made this one and I just had to have it. I love the sparkly star there in the middle. And so I will focus on the star because that's where our focus should be this season, on the star over the Christ child, and wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and hope you will stay tuned as I get back into this YouTube thing, and hopefully by the first of the year my videos will start being more regular again, and I'd love for you to subscribe. So hit that button down below, leave me a comment, and be sure and hit the like button. Until next time, y'all take care, and thanks for tuning in to Tammy Too's Vintage.